Hi! Welcome to the second video in the Wuthering Waves character lore series, where I tell you 5 things you probably didn't know about a character. Today's focus, none other than the elegant, the brilliant, the master tactician Changli. This is Astria, and I read the lore so you don't have to. Let's dive right into it. Hello, welcome to the video. Subscribe, thanks! Number 5. As we all know, Changli is currently serving as a counselor, or a mentor for Jinxi, the magistrate of Jinzhou. She was the former Secretary General in the capital of Huanglong. Less known is the implication that Changli used to hold a loftier position than Jinxi, and that people saw her appointment as Jinxi's counselor a demotion or downgrade from her previous position. Rumors followed Changli during her appointment as Jinxi's counselor, saying that she was demoted by a higher governing power and that she was just after Jinxi's position for herself. These rumors were just that, however, as Changli had bigger things on her mind. Number 4. Before becoming Jinxi's counselor, Changli once met Jinxi as a little girl. Apparently, Jinxi was memorizing books far too advanced for her age, trying desperately to swallow as much knowledge as possible. Changli saw herself in the young Jinxi, who was earnest and eager to become a good magistrate and bring order to Jinzhou. She saw a spark in Jinxi during that meeting and decided then and there to become her teacher, lighting the way for Jinxi, just as Changli's master, Master Xuanmiao, did for her. Number 3. Yes, Changli had a mentor when she was young, a revered hermit named Master Xuanmiao, who was a master at statecraft and diplomacy. We encounter mentions of Master Xuanmiao during Changli's story quest. He was the elderly gentleman who decided to mentor the orphan Changli himself. He must have seen Changli's brilliance even at her young age, for he dedicated the last years of his life into teaching Changli everything he knew. When he felt that he was near the end, he entrusted Changli with not just his legacy, but a Weiqi manual and the knowledge of a legendary figure, one who had the power to save the world. Number 2. As a child, after Changli lost her parents and her entire hometown to a TD outbreak, Changli had a bookstore she frequented. However, since she was unable to buy any books, the owner of the bookstore took pity on Changli and told her she could read the books at night as long as she opened the shop for him in the morning. The bookstore owner always came back to a dazzlingly clean bookstore that was warm during the winters. Years later, after traveling with her master, Changli would return to thank the bookstore owner in person. She had now become the Secretary General of Huanglong and could now afford the entire store if she wished. Before we go to number 1, here's a rather sweet honorable mention. Changli's clothes are made of a fabric from some unknown material that are now almost impossible to obtain. The fabric becomes even whiter and cleaner after being exposed to flames. The plant required to weave the fabric went extinct during the lament, making every remaining piece priceless. This priceless fabric was gifted to Changli from Jinxi after the young magistrate's appointment ceremony. Isn't that just sweet? And moving on to number 1. After Master Xuanmiao imparts his knowledge of the legendary rover to Changli, she would spend the time after her master's death looking for this figure. The rover apparently has abilities capable of changing and saving the world. Changli realized that she would need power and influence in order to meet this savior. She would spend years clawing her way up the political ladder until she became Secretary General of Huanglong and gaining access to the Grand Library. It is in this library that information about the rover's return would lead her to the most insignificant city in Huanglong, the border city of Jinzhou. From then on, everything unfurled the way Changli was told. Yet the once nebulous being from ancient records and myths, the figure Changli spent years researching and chasing, was now very real and within reach. The rover will never know all that Changli did just to meet them in that very port under the rain.
Are you trapped here by the rain?
And that's a wrap. That's 5 things you probably didn't know about Changli. Was there something in the list that surprised you? Or are you a die-hard Changli fan who already knows everything about her? Hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment on which Wuthering Waves character you want to know more about next. Thank you for watching. This is Astria, and I'm signing off.